What's up, guys? It's Phil. Just wanted to record a video about the upcoming Eternal Masters because I think that there's a lot of I don't know, conspiracies and all sorts of, allegations being thrown around about people knowing about it ahead of time. I just want to kind of settle this issue for you guys and tell you that it's not really a conspiracy to know that a company is going to do something that they should obviously do. So I I think we've all seen the success of modern masters. I mean, why wouldn't wotc do a legacy masters set? I've been talking in my shop for the last year and a half about how wotc needs to do a legacy masters set. And it's not really because of legacy, it's because of EDH. EDH has put massive upward pricing pressure on a bunch of cards from back in the day. And that demand is added to the legacy demand that already existed, as well as the collectible demand, as well as the casual demand. Eh, You know, and there weren't any reprints, which doesn't make any sense because there's a list of cards that are not allowed to reprint, right? And there's a bunch of cards that aren't on that list that are worth money. So why wouldn't they reprint them? I mean, isn't this free money? I mean, I don't think that it takes some sort of genius or futurologist or soothsayer or diviner or whatever word you want for it. I've literally been almost shouting in discussions with my customers over where is Legacy Masters and why hasn't it been announced and why hasn't it been done yet? I mean, in my opinion, they're 2 years late to the party. There should have been a Legacy Masters before the second Modern Masters, after the success of the first Modern Masters. That's like, that's just missed opportunity. And now we're going to go further into this. Is there a whole conspiracy thing? And I'm going to hopefully show you, not, and I don't mean the magic set conspiracy. I mean, like, is there a conspiracy um, surrounding like leaks? Because people have said that vendors got lists ahead of time, etc., etc. Like, this frustrates me so much. L- Let me show you the list of cards that are likely to appear in Legacy Masters. This is not this is not going to be earth-shattering. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select the legacy sets that have decent cards in them, and then we're going to set a price point for this because wotc needs to sell packs, right? And then we're going to have a list of cards that realistically could be on this list. The only stuff that's not going to pop up on this list, and I want to make sure I put this out there, is cards that are banned in modern. So like Jace the Mind Sculptor or Jitte or Divining Top. I mean Dark Depths, right? That card's banned in modern, I think. Um so those would be the cards that could also be printed in Legacy Masters. And I keep calling it Legacy Masters. Oh god, did I just click? Alright, well this is a good time to point out, why the fuck is the start over button here and the show results button here? Does anybody else make this mistake like all the damn time? Because I know I do. It really pisses me off. So we'll click a bunch of buttons here. And then the second thing that you need, and this is not complicated because it's open on my desktop right now. You may be able to see at the top of the screen it says reserved list. Okay. Those are the ones they can't reprint. Like this is, I don't know. This is not rocket science, obviously. I'm not really doing anything revolutionary per se here. So all these cards that are going to show up on this list, minus the reserved list cards, are cards that could be reprinted in Legacy Masters. And more importantly, are likely to be reprinted in Legacy Masters, because there's a lot more than this that could be. But remember, WotC needs to sell packs of cards, so there has to be something worth opening, and we all knew that the price per pack was going to be, well, I mean, we should have assumed that it would be the same as the Modern Masters 2 price. I personally think it could have been $7.99 a pack. I think Modern Masters 2 should have been $7.99 a pack. Either that or they should have put better cards in it, because I mean, it's only up until recently that it really became worth buying at its MSRP. So you take a card like Academy Rector, and then you go over here, you hit Control F, Academy Rector, right? I don't see Academy Rector. I see Tolarian Academy. Or is you on here, Rector? I should just search Rector, right? I mean, come on. Academy Rector, there you go. So Academy Rector can be reprinted. Next card. Adarkar Waste obviously can. Adarkar, you get my point. You know, Ancient Tomb. TOMB. Cyclopean Tomb. Tombstone Stairwell. Alker's Tomb. I didn't even know that was a card. And Pillar Tombs of Aku. Okay, there's a good chance we'll see Ancient Tomb. And like, let's face it, if you know anything about Magic and Magic's history and the relevance of this card, we should see Ancient Tomb. That card needs to be fucking reprinted. Like, duh. Argothian Enchantress, Blood Moon. Oh yeah, these are definites. I mean, I think Blood Moon was in Modern Masters if I remember, so that's maybe not the most important, but Argoth. Argothian Worm is on here. Yes, Argothian Enchantress is a busted ass Enchantress that is the foundation of the Enchantress deck because she costs less than the other Enchantress effects, and she's got hexproof. I mean, and an awesome picture. But my point is, like, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Argothian Enchantress has a pretty high probability of being reprinted. So I this card needs it bad. So bribery, and I'm not going to go back and forth with all of these cards just to do this because it would be a long ass video. So, we'll just go through the Star City list because I can usually remember what's banned. But even if I can't, you just look it up on your own. So bribery is probably going to be reprinted, particularly, and I want to point this out again, because EDH, in my opinion, has more to do with these price movements than Legacy does. Though Legacy could come roaring back as a format if it were more accessible to players. So yeah, burgeoning would be a good one. Cabal Coffers, definitely. Um, Cabal Therapy could probably be done as an uncommon. That would be a pretty sick. That's like the Remand. You know how like Remand was that gangster uncommon? And now I guess Eldrazi Temple's pretty gangster too. But like that's that gangster uncommon from your Modern Masters pack. Yeah, Cabal Therapy could be that. I think City of Traders is on the do not reprint list. You want to know how I know that? Because it's $150. Because a bunch of people have figured this out. Oh, this card needs a reprint so damn bad. I don't know if it's banned in Modern. I would hope so. Thing's way OP. I mean, Defense of the Heart could get one. Doubling Cube, definitely. The EDH players love that card. Earthcraft, that's probably on the do not reprint list, but card's sick. Um, Pretty much all these uncommon tutors. That'd be insane if they did like the cycle with vampiric and enlightened and worldly, but I don't know. Those are all candidates. There's a good one, Snaring Bridge. I mean, to my knowledge, legal and modern. I don't remember if they ever reprinted it in Modern Masters. Would it show up on this list? No, because I didn't click Modern Masters. How does that work exactly? I mean, I didn't allow it to be clicked, but you know. So, and real quick, because we're using the logic of economics here as our basis, I don't think that Ensnaring Bridge will be reprinted in Legacy Masters because I think that this card's an excellent candidate for Modern Masters 3. And you want to leave cards of value around if you intend to sell $10 booster packs. Entomb, yeah, definitely. Exploration, same thing, as long as neither are on the list. Food Chain, it's not a bad one. Force, we already talked about. This is on the list. This would be awesome to have. Gamble. I think Gemstone Mine's fine, honestly, because of Time Spiral. Gilded Drake could clearly use it. I don't know if it's on the list. I don't really think Greater Good or Grave Pact would need it because they could be reprinted in Modern Masters, and you gotta leave some gas for Modern Masters, right? This thing shot up. My guess is it's on the do not reprint list. Um, this would be awesome. Humility. Intuition would definitely be great. Don't know if they're allowed to print it or not, but world needs more intuitions. Land tax. LED, I'm guessing, is on the list now that it's $130. Otherwise, nobody would be paying that much. um, Mana Vault is an uncommon, would be pretty cool. Seen a lot of EDH play. It's like the other Soul Ring, but they like haven't done it yet. Like what the fuck, right? Um, Mind Over Matter could use it. Metal Worker, he's probably on the list, but whatever. World needs more metal workers. Uh, God, I wish, but you know, Mirari's Wake. They did that in Conspiracy, so it's fine. Miri's Guile, definitely. If that card's allowed, it's like a green divining top that isn't ridiculous fuck broken. Natural Order and Diamond could use it, but I think Diamond's on the list. Um, Null Rod's probably on the list, given that you know it's up to $30. Yikes. Phyrexian Altar needs it badly. Great in EDH. I think Tower's on the list. Can't remember. Um, some stuff that's banned. Replenish could use it, but I mean it's only $15 right now. This thing must be on the list. I mean it's at 100, so I assume that it's on the do not reprint list. Oh God, is scroll rack? Lord, we need scroll racks. Oh yes, they can reprint scroll rack. That's super good. Um, World needs more scroll racks. Um, wow, that's disgusting that Seedborn Muse is worth that much. That thing needs a Modern Masters 2 printing. And or Modern Masters 3. And this is, by the way, one of my big beefs. I think it would have been better to have a $10 MSRP on Modern Masters 2 and for them to have printed some goddamn EDH cards, or I should say more of them than they did. Like doing the White Praetor and not the other ones makes me livid because they all needed it. I guess maybe except for Shealdred because she got promoed, but that's not fair. You can't use that as an example. They all needed it. I mean, frankly, maybe if they had just done the four of them and not Shealdred to kind of bring the balance back to how many of each existed, then that would have been cool. But Seedborn Muse should have been in Modern Masters too, frankly. That's probably on the list. Show and Tell needs a reprint, but I can't tell if it's on the list or not without wasting y'all's time. Sliver Queen and Sneak Attack. I mean, these are the cards like Survival. If these cards are not on this list, then they are candidates for reprint. And a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, a decent amount of them are on this list, or they are reprintable in Modern Masters, which means Modern Masters 3 will likely have them. You know, WotC wants money. So this is pretty much, this isn't brain, surgery here. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Sylvan Library needs it super bad. And we'll just kind of run through. Time Spiral needs it. Don't know if we can get it. Pretty much anything with the word time on it would be an acceptable include because taking extra turns in EDH is busted. Um, yeah. Like I said, the tutors would be sick if we saw him come back as a cycle, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Vindicate, definitely. That thing's a go. Volrath Stronghold, Wasteland. Um, we're getting Wasteland, but you get my point. Yavimaya Hollow honestly needs it because people buy them up so fast. Yawgmoth's Will, I wouldn't be surprised if that's on the list, but whatever. It's not really. I mean, sure, we could use them. So these are the cards. These are the cards we need. These are your candidates for rares and mythics, and of course, the more expensive they are, the more likely they are to be mythics. It's a lottery. Buying booster packs is a lottery. You want to make the value proportionate to the probability of pulling it. And then if you want to think about like uncommons, then you can search maybe cards between $5 and $10 to try and see if there are any cards there. Maybe $5 to $10 common uncommon cards. Those are cards that would be reprinted as uncommons or would be candidates for reprint because that's what this is, right? It's an opportunity for WotC to cash in on the ability to reprint cards, but to get good amounts of money for it instead of bringing back Mutavault or Tomb Urborg as just cards in a core set, which is a terrible waste of money for WotC in the per pack price, considering what they're putting in there, and is also bad for those that own those cards. I think like Urborg went to 50, then dropped to like as low as $6 after it was printed in, I think it was like 2015 or something. And now it's back up to like 25 bone or something. I don't know. My point is like that's way too much volatility. Um, had Urborg been reprinted in Modern Masters 2 as a regular rare, maybe it would have dropped from 50 down to say 30 something, maybe even down into the 20s. Okay, so I mean, that hurts if you're somebody who bought one at 50, but I mean, my God. Like imagine this being somebody's stock portfolio, you know, if you had a shitload of money in a stock and you lost half your value, you would be livid, right? And we're talking about Herbor going from 50 to $6. That's like a tenth of its price. That kind of volatility makes people quit playing Magic. That's the real issue here. People will quit if they think that their cards aren't worth buying in the first place because the market is too volatile and can just bottom out on them and crash. So ultimately, this whole Modern Masters, Legacy Masters thing, I keep calling it that, Eternal Masters, this is a great idea. It's a great way to feed cards out over time in a more expensive booster pack so it doesn't crash market prices, in limited print runs so that it doesn't crash market prices, and it's a way to respect those who have invested in the game by not just tanking their value too hard, but also to give people an opportunity to buy in and to get in. So it's a great idea, it's a great concept, but let's face it, it's not that hard to predict that they're going to do things like this because they're in it for the money. And that's okay. Because if there wasn't any money in it, they would stop making the game. So there's got to be something in it for them. And that's a good thing. There's something in it for all of us, assuming that, everybody plays nice and everybody has an understanding of how this whole system works. Anyway, that's my video on the concept that there is no secret evil conspiracy regarding Eternal Masters. It's just good old fashioned logic, common sense, and greed. They want to do it. We want them to do it. We all know the cards that need it done too. So there were some obvious candidates for reprints, and Force of Will and Wasteland were two of the most glaring. So not too difficult to guess on that front. Anyway, it's been another one of my videos that ended up being too long, but hopefully there was, some rationale, some valuable information, and maybe a little bit of emotional soothing there. It's not a big evil conspiracy. It's the same shit it always was. Capitalism.